Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. Welcome to Clayscapes Pottery information session on mixing one of our Clayscapes Pottery glazes. Some of the tools that we have today that we're going to be using. First of all, we have our glaze, and this is 10 pounds of Clinton Pottery Red. We have a sieve, 80 mesh screen in it, gallon bucket that we're going to use for water, graduated cylinder, our trusty hydrometer, sponge, drill for mixing, 5-gallon bucket, and it's always nice to have a towel for cleanup, keep your hands dry, drying your hydrometer, makes things go a little easier, a little quicker for you. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to our sink and get a gallon of water. Okay, so what we're going to do is add water to our glaze. We have our dry mix here. We make Clayscapes, we make our glazes and batch them in 5 and 10 pound increments. And what you want to do is add about 12 ounces of water per 1 pound of dry mix. So in 10 pounds, that's going to be 120 ounces, which is a little bit less than 1 gallon. So take your rubber band off, and in an effort to avoid dust, we found a nice way to do this, and which I'm going to show you. So I have just less than a gallon of water, 120 ounces, and you're going to hold the bag like so, and add your water. I'm going to add about half the water here. I'm going to close my bag, and you can see I have an air pocket here on the top. I'm going to twist it, and now I'm going to shake this. And what this is going to do is get the glaze started to be wetted, but it also eliminates a nice big cloud of dust in the air. Isn't that nice? No dust. I'm going to add some more water to this. Twist it again. Give it some more shaking. Shake, rattle, and roll, baby. Okay. When that's done, I'm going to take my 5-gallon bucket and I'm going to empty my glaze into the bucket. You can see that there's some residual glaze left on the inside of the bag. I'm going to take the remainder of my water, empty it into the bag, and this will just shake it around a little bit, and that gets the rest of it off of the bag. There we go. So now, I don't know if you can see this, we have a wetted glaze, and now we're going to do some mixing. Okay, we're back over here at our table, which is adjacent to our sinks, and we are going to mix our glaze and get it much more homogenized than just shaking in a bag could. And at this point, you can either put it through a sieve into another bucket, this handy sieve that we sell here at Clayscapes Pottery. You can just drop it onto another bucket, pour your glaze into it, and sieve it through. We are going to use a drill mixer. It's a little bit quicker process. So this is going to go in, and we're going to mix this for just a couple of minutes. And here we go. So now that I'm done mixing, one of the things that I do right away is the first thing I do is I unplug my drill. I'm going to take it over to the sink and wash it off. Do not wash your drill with it plugged in. we don't want any injuries. Thank you. Alright folks, here we are. We got our glaze mixed, and we're going to take our graduated cylinder and we're going to fill that almost to the top with, you can see how thick this glaze is. Better to make it too thick than too thin, because if you make it too thin you're going to have to add more glaze. And we're going to take our hydrometer. Be very careful, they're very fragile. If you drop it, they will break. So with the hydrometer, we have readings from 2.0, which would be something very thick, up to 1.0, which would be water. We're going to be shooting with our Clinton Pottery Red. Our final glaze is going to be at 1.45. I expect this to be very thick. It's going to be down around probably 2.0, 1.9, again because we do make them thick in the beginning. So we're going to take this, you're going to submerge it into your graduated cylinder with your liquid in it, slowly enter it, and you're going to let it go, and it will find its level. You just wait a few seconds for that to happen, and once it finds its level, it's going to stop moving. We're going to pull this out. We're at 1.93. Okay? So that's good. We are going to let this sit 24 hours so that all the particles get fully wetted. We'll come back, check it again, and we'll be ready to glaze. So now we've let our glaze set for 24 hours. We're going to come back and we're going to get our glaze up to proper consistency. And so I'm going to add some more water. In the end, we're going to be, we talked about adding 12 ounces of water per pound of glaze. In the end, it winds up being actually about 15 ounces of water per dry pound of glaze. So now I'm going to add some more water to the glaze, and as opposed to just pouring it in and having it go in hard and submerging, one of the things I like to do is pour it in slow, and so that you can see it spread across the surface of the glaze, and it gives you a little more control over how much water you're adding to your glaze. And you can just mix that in. And again, you could measure this. If it was 10 pounds of water, you're going to add another 3 ounces per pound, so that's about another 30 ounces. I would probably go with 20 or 25, just again because you don't want to add too much water all at once and then have your glaze be too thin. Also, water in different parts of the country can vary, and it definitely does affect the application of your glazes onto your pot, so go careful with your water. Okay, so now we've gotten our 10-pound batch of glaze fairly close to consistency, and we've added it into our working container of glaze that we have here in the studio. And we're going to take another hydrometer reading on the entire batch, the older batch plus the addition of the new batch. We're going to use our hydrometer again, and just like to add, it's very important that after each use you wash your hydrometer and dry it. It must be dry in order to get an accurate reading. So now we're going to take this hydrometer, we're going to put it into our working batch of glaze. Alright, I'm going to add this in slowly. At about 1.6 I'm going to let it go, and you can see it's going to find its level of consistency. And again, we want to work with this glaze at 1.45, and let's see what that's telling us right now. That's telling us that we're at 1.47, so we're pretty close. We do need to add just a little bit of water, and again, you can check this out if you come up a little closer. As opposed to just dumping it in, I'm going to add it slowly to the surface so that it has a controlled, and you'll get the hang of how much water you need to add the more that you do this. I'm going to go over to my sink, wash my hydrometer and dry it. I'll mix this water in and take another reading. So now we've added just, you can see that very little bit of water to our batch, and we have our final reading of 1.45. And this glaze is ready to rock and roll. Do some dipping and pouring. thanks for watching with us, and please let us know if you have any questions. You can find us on the web, clayscapespottery.com. Follow us on Facebook at our Facebook page. If you have any questions, let us know. Leave comments, leave images. We're happy to help in any way that we can. Thanks. Have a great day.